Hi everyone, it's Carl. I'm here in Houston, Texas, about to teach an enormous class. And I recently received an email from someone who had questions about misconceptions of Japan. So let's get to it.
At the beginning of March, I received an email from a subscriber named Catherine. This was her email. Carl, I'm a subscriber of your YouTube channel. I've scheduled a trip to Japan in May, but I'm a little confused about what I should expect to experience. Will I be eating options other than Japanese food? I don't speak Japanese at all. Will that be a problem? Should I be prepared to eat sushi all the time? Some websites say one thing, and then a YouTube video will say something else. Anything you could offer would be appreciated. Well, thanks to Catherine, let's review 7 common misconceptions about Japan. Misconception number 1. I want to visit Japan, but I don't speak Japanese, so there's a big language barrier. Nope. Especially if you stay in the big spots like Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Nagoya, and Yokohama, and you speak English, you will have no problem. What most people don't know is Japanese high school students are required to take English as a second language. Not only that, they love American media and movies. In big cities, you won't find the language to be a challenge. And even if you do, there's a number of free translation apps on your phone that will clear up any confusion. Even business signs, street signs, and public printing is in English. Number 2, if there's only Japanese food in Japan, I won't be able to eat anything. Well, as crazy as this sounds, some people love Japan, but they aren't fans of Japanese cuisine. I mean, they love anime and electronics and samurai swords and Mount Fuji, but Japanese food isn't their thing. Lots of picky eaters out there. And many folks are terrified that if they walk the streets of Japan, they won't be able to find anything to eat. Well, if you think that way, you are way off. Not only do the Japanese people love their own culture, but they absolutely adore hamburgers and fried chicken and gourmet coffee, pizza, pasta, and a well-cooked steak and much more. Go to Google and type in American food in Japan, and then watch the results you get. Number 3, the Japanese people are super friendly. Well, you all know that I love Japan and the Japanese culture, but are the Japanese people super friendly? No, they are polite. That's very different. Especially while they're at work, you will find them to be kind, helpful, willing, and empathetic. That's because there's a philosophy in the world of Japanese sales and service named omotenashi. It means concepts of hospitality as well as mindfulness, to wholeheartedly look after the customer and do everything you can to demonstrate undeniable service. Now, when they're off the clock, they are themselves. And most Japanese people are introverted, especially when it comes to strangers, and most especially when it comes to strangers and foreigners. So will you find them very polite? Yes. But super friendly? No. Number 4, cherry blossoms bloom all year long. Well, that would be nice, but don't believe this silliness. Cherry blossoms, otherwise known as sakura in Japan, bloom at the beginning of spring. The blooming schedule is different depending on where you are in Japan. But if you find yourself in Tokyo or nearby, from mid-March to the first week of April, you will spot them everywhere. Sometimes they start blooming a little early, sometimes they last a little longer, but all year long? Not on your life. Number 5, Japanese people eat sushi all the time. You know, some of these misconceptions I understand, but others I have no idea where they come from. Sushi, of course, is popular in Japan, but if you're under the impression that they eat sushi all the time, not quite. In fact, check this out. I have 10 good friends who are either Japanese or have lived in Japan for several years, and I asked each one of them, how often do you go out for a sushi lunch or dinner at a restaurant or a sushi bar? I received the following responses. Hardly ever, once a month, rarely, on my birthday, about 5 times a year, and so on. They have nothing against it. In fact, they enjoy it and sometimes make it at home for their own family. But it's not the never-ending, continual staple of their diet that you might imagine it is. Number 6, Japan is very expensive. You know, the only reason this fallacy still exists is because of the crazy real estate bubble of the 1980s, when prices for anything in Tokyo was outrageous, and the rumor has stuck with Japan ever since. Let me give you my experience of traveling to Japan for the past 18 years. It is not expensive. Now, is Tokyo more expensive than Kakegawa? Yeah, just like downtown Manhattan is more expensive than Omaha, Nebraska. But you don't apply the cost and expense of downtown Tokyo to every other city in Japan. Let me give you a great example. During my very last trip to Japan, I stayed at hotels in Narita, Tokyo, Kobe, Himeji, Kakegawa, and Shin Osaka. Just me, traveling alone. Every hotel had everything you would want. Free Wi-Fi, my own super clean bathroom and shower, a flat screen TV, closet for my luggage, polite and accommodating staff, and even a great convenience store across the street from each hotel. And not one single hotel was more than $65 per night. Is Japan expensive? Not quite. Misconception number 7. The bullet trains are terrifyingly fast and they run on magnets. No. While I will admit that the bullet trains, known as the Shinkansen in Japan, are fast, they aren't lightning fast. The average speed of a bullet train in Japan is about 162 miles per hour. The fastest bullet train I have ever been on was 195 miles an hour, and that's fast enough. But the bullet trains also do not run on magnets. The bullet trains in Japan were invented in the mid-1960s, and the technology has improved, but never morphed into super-duper technology. You see, the bullet trains in Japan don't run on one main engine that powers the entire series of cars. Instead, it uses an ingenious concept of several smaller engines throughout the entire car system. About 56 motors power one train, and the electricity coming from the top, powered by a cable, continually feeds the power to all the electric motors, and that's what Japan uses today. Japan is working and testing on maglev train technology now, and some amazing train systems are being tested, but right now, magnets are not powering the entire train system. Thank you for watching. Another video is coming soon.